everyone, it's me Jenny and welcome to another British culture type talk thing. Today I'm going to be talking about a subject that I wasn't going to talk about for at least a little while, but for the sake of health and safety I feel like I need to discuss it imminently. The subject is scones, or more specifically cream teas, afternoon cream teas, Devonshire cream teas, and that sort of thing. The reason why I'm discussing this slightly earlier than expected is because I was having a conversation on Twitch with some of my Twitch friends, including my friend Baxorn, and he said that he was very concerned about dangerous English foods, including what we eventually worked out was scone. And so, given that scone, as far as I know, is not a very dangerous food type, I thought I'd best discuss it with you and talk you through how to do a proper afternoon cream tea. First things first, this is a scone. It can also be pronounced scone, it depends on where you're from or how you do it. I tend to flip-flop between scone and scone, but it is basically a sort of sweet bread roll type thing. It is meant to be relatively crispy. This one, instead of being homemade, it was bought from a shop because they didn't have time to make them, but usually they're quite crispy. They're like the sort of texture of French bread in that the outside is slightly crusty and the inside is relatively soft. Traditionally they're eaten straight out the oven, fresh made, or you can toast them or just put them in the oven for a few minutes before serving afternoon cream tea. So that is a scone. There are lots of variations on the scones. This one is a plain scone. If you're eating a savoury scone, it can have cheese in it. If you're having a non-traditional cream tea, you can have things like chocolate chips in them. My favourite is white chocolate chips, that when I'm making them I just put them in, so they're kind of like slightly crispier muffins. Also traditionally you can add things like raisins or sultanas just to add that extra fruity flavour. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to prepare a scone. So, as I said, these are usually traditionally heated straight out of the oven, so they're ever so slightly warm. You take a knife, usually butter knives will do. I'm using a serrated knife just for the sake of convenience. Slice it down the middle. Sometimes people choose to have butter on their scones at this point. It's very unusual, but it does happen, so this will be the time to add the butter. I choose not to. Next up, clotted cream. You can use whipped cream, although clotted cream or Devonshire cream is always traditional. You don't need too much, but you feel free to kind of dollop it on. So I usually just pop it in the middle and kind of spread it around. You can use a knife, or in this case I'm using the serving spoons, which is not considered the most genteel way, but for the sake of demonstration I can't be asked to get out extra washing up utensils that I will then need to wash up. So you just kind of spread them out over the top of the scone. And jam. Now traditionally the jam is either strawberry, which is the ultimate traditional version, or raspberry, which is kind of a backup. Unfortunately, when I was buying my cream and scones I assumed that we had strawberry jam when we don't in the house, so at the moment I'm using blackcurrant jam. It's not ideal, but it's adequate. So obviously you need slightly less jam than cream, but the idea is to have a good cream to jam ratio, so scone, cream, jam. And then you just bite into them. That's very good. And of course you wash it down with a nice hot cup of English breakfast tea. So that's the basic principle of an English cream tea. As I said, there are several variations. You can use whipped cream instead of clotted cream, although clotted cream is traditional. You can use any sort of jam, although as I said, strawberry jam is the ultimate tradition. And as I said, plain scones, or you can have them with fruit built in. Traditionally, afternoon cream tea is between about 2 o'clock mid-afternoon through to about 5 o'clock. It is kind of a very high calorie snack. As you can see, there's a lot of cream, there's quite a lot of sugar, and there's quite a lot of things like flour and that sort of thing. So for me and my family, it's always been one of those things that we only ever have a cream tea if we've done very high calorie exercise during the day. For example, if we've been on a long walk in the Devon Dorset area where it's beautiful countryside, and then at the end of the day, mid-afternoon before you make your way back home, you stop over for a cream tea. It is very high calorie. It's traditionally a very slow, long break meal. You're meant to take a good deal of time to kind of relax into it. I would normally have a pot of tea to myself at this point, but It is a little bit later than I would normally have cream tea if I were to have cream tea. It is kind of a social event. It's not a very common thing to have a cream tea. You don't have a cream tea every single day. As I said, I usually only do it when I'm on holidays with my family, and we've done exercise during the day and we need some way to just build up the energy to head back home. It is a traditional thing, it's not an everyday thing, it's not a normal morning coffee break, it's not a normal morning afternoon tea break. It is an entire kind of ceremony in honour of itself. But the ways that you can avoid being harmed is to, if you slice it in half, so you're not working your mouth around an entire thing, and take your time. You can of course eat it with cutlery, you can slice up using a knife, if you're feeling really fancy, use cutlery, but traditionally it is just nibbled at. I've heard tell that the Queen, when she does it, breaks off little bits and then feeds them to the corgis, although I don't know how truthful that rumour is. Anyway, I'm going to sit down and enjoy this in my own spare time. I'm going to invite my sister to join me, and there we go. I hope you are more informed. I hope you are more safety conscious and no one else gets harmed in alarming scone eating accidents, which I didn't think were a thing but apparently are. And I hope you enjoy having your own traditional green tea and that sort of thing. Feel free to comment down below if you feel more informed, less informed, confused, want to know more about this, want to know slightly less about it. There's nothing I can do about that. And yeah, anything else you want to know about this little tea ceremony that we in Britain do, feel free to comment down below. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like, and I will see you guys all in 2 weeks for another British culture talk and tomorrow for another vlog. Bye guys.